Okay guys, so instead of listing all users, we're going to make a specific user profile page. So we can just copy this one and we'll call it profile, and we will take the username and user. We're going to try, we're going to get this. And we're going to get username equals username. Otherwise, raise HTTP 404. Let's make sure that we have that one. And make sure we spell it correctly. Okay. And then we'll just say single user. All right. And if user dot act is active, single user equals user. So we use single user in our template file. We can get rid of that. And if it doesn't exist or it's not active, it's going to raise that, which is good, because we want it to raise a 404 if it's not a user or it's not an active user. So in our URLs, let's go ahead and do, we're going to do members, and then we're going to pass the username into the URL. And then we'll do profiles dot views dot single user. Okay, let's make sure that that is what we called it in our views. Oh, we called it profiles. So let's change it to single user. I think that makes a little bit more sense. And now we need to make our actual template file. So in templates, we will do new file, single user.html, and we can actually copy all. Let's just copy this, go into single user, and we will say single user, single user. Get rid of the for loop. Take that for loop out actually. Get rid of this one, and for item in single user instead of user. Okay, so then we will take that out. So this is going to show us the addresses for the single user. Let's do it for the jobs as well, and this should be an N4, not an indif. So let's copy this, and we can do job set here. Let's make it a little bit cleaner to read. And then let's put them in their own lists. So UL element, so on UL means unordered list. And we'll put list items. So that's what an LI is. And then we'll put the jobs into an ordered list. So OL and LI, there we go. Okay, so single user should return the username. And if we go back in here, we'll go members, jmitchell3, and there we go. And notice it says sales clerk, and that's because I added a job in jobs. So we could obviously change homes, works, and stuff like that, but now we have a user profile. And another thing that we want to do is in our all, we want to do a href, and we're going to go members user.username, just in case if we change anything, and we'll do that. Okay, go back into Chrome, go back to all, refresh it, oops, Made a mistake. Make sure that template's going through. Okay. And cool. Now that works. If we add our James Bond user back to being active, should be able to see the exact same thing, and works. Cool. So now we have basically the setup for a long list of user profiles that we can look at. Now there's one more thing that we want to add to user profiles. So in models, we want to have pictures. So let's add class user pictures. Now we will say user equals models dot foreign key user image equals models dot image field upload to, and we'll say profile. We'll just say profiles, and we will return a string of the image. And we can put a timestamp in there too. Let's just do that. Cool. And maybe active as well. All right, now let's close our server out. Oh, we're already getting this error for pill, so let's do a pip install pill. That's the Python image library. And now it's running that. So again, this is what's really good about using virtual environments, is it allows us to have things separate from our typical computer, so our main root computer. And as that loads, we'll come back in here. And so now we have user pictures, so in our own single user, we can even copy this. Let's just copy this whole thing here and do user, oops, single user and user pictures. Do we call it pictures or picture? Let's change it to user picture, not user pictures, because it's an instance of each model. Okay, now pills and setup. So do a pip freeze to see it. And there's pill. Okay, so we'll do a Python manage.py schema migration profiles auto and Python manage.py migrate profiles. Cool. And then in our admin, we can even add that in there. And I use the admin for a lot of testing. This is testing so you can just kind of jump right into it without having to make your site actually work a whole lot yet. So we'll do a Python manage.py run server. And in our admin, we'll do a refresh. User pictures are there. Add the user. And looks like I don't have one readily available. There we go. And we'll save that. Okay, so if we do a refresh here, we have our picture URL, which is nice, but we actually want the picture to show up. So single user, and that's going to be image source equals media URL. And we actually don't need that slash because we actually define it in our settings. So if we do a refresh, we are not serving our static files, so we need to do that. So jump into URLs, and we're going to import the settings first. Django conf import settings. Make sure it's the lowercase settings. And now we're going to add in just a regular expression. It doesn't need the URL. And we will do static make sure you're typing that exactly. Okay, now copy that exact thing for media and change that to media root, and just gonna look over it again real quick. Looks good. All right, back into our project, do a refresh, and we should see the picture working. Oops, cancel, do a refresh, and there's the picture. Whoa, that's a big one. So cool. Now it's starting to come together as far as the profile. I know it doesn't look like much, but it is coming together, and we can add mini pictures now. But the next thing would be to actually start getting the template files working. But I want to do a few more things before we actually do that. So we'll see you in the next